What you boys jibber jabbering about over there?
Move my desk again because it's just so hot over here. It sucks.
Well, why don't you turn on the AC like an hour
Well,
before we do this?
Well, you would think, my dad being, Mr. AC man, there's literally 2 vents right there. But for some reason, whoever built
they
this
should
house,
just be
they
blasting.
put like the smallest like pipes, like vents or whatever
Ductwork?
in here, so it doesn't like move very much air. So we've tried to kind of like hack it to make it work, and it doesn't.
Dude,
So
do you do this when I get in the car and it's like a warm day or whatever? I adjust the vents with one blowing on my face, and I try to push the other one down to like blow on my balls, basically. It doesn't get quite down there. I wish there was actually a vent.
well,
I know what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You had my truck for a while, so when I was looking for a new car, I was only looking for two things. One,
One
I wanted
feature.
I wanted it to look cool, but 2,
Uh-huh.
as far as features go, it had to have ventilated, air-conditioned seats. Because
Yeah.
the second that you get that, and there's literally just an air conditioner for your balls and your back, like you can never go
Yeah.
back. Like it's just like the most amazing feeling ever on the planet. So before I got that, I used to do exactly what you do. Now I literally shut everyone's vents, and I just blow the vents just straight on my face because I have my seat
Yeah.
blowing on my balls. So yeah,
Yeah. Nice.
but I'm with you.
I'm jealous. It's weird though. It seems like, of course, this is, we're talking about products. It seems like a thing that would have come up already. Like there should be one
ball conditioner?
right there. The ball conditioner. Yeah. It's the vent, and you can.
Let's redesign this thing. I actually feel like this actually is way simpler than we're making it out to be. There's like all this dead space underneath the steering wheel that you could easily, like in the dashboard, make a little vent down there. And
That's
just,
what I'm
it
saying.
just blows direct. Like, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an easy fix.
It's got the
GM,
same adjustment
Ford.
where you can turn it to full blast or like turn it off.
Yeah.
I
mean, you don't have to
Yeah,
reinvent
easy
the way a
fix.
vent works. You just literally run one over there,
It's true.
We're gonna start a
have to be
customizing shop
trademarked.
that like all we do is like we just make a ball
Ball
vent.
conditioners.
Yeah.
All right, let me
love
go
it.
see if that domain's
All right.
available.
Yeah, you buy the
All right,
domain.
ball conditioners.
I'll work on the
XYZ.
trademark. I'll work on the trademark. Man,
No
so
joke though. What a feature.
I mean, so so it's like I always think back to like being in high school after like baseball practice, just being like just soaked in sweat because it's so hot in Texas, and like my air conditioner in my car didn't work, and so it was just
Yeah,
like
I've
roll down the
dealt with that.
roll down the windows and drive as fast as you can, basically to try to cool off.
Yeah.
But really, all you're doing is moving a bunch of hot air around you, and so I just think about like if I had seat air conditioners after practice, like how much nicer my life would have been, like
Oh man,
almost
you'd
like
be
you're
living
like
a whole
about
different
to,
life right now.
You're like about to have a stroke after like being out in
Yeah.
the sun for 4 hours and sweating, and you're just like, oh, I'll just sit in my car with the ball conditioner and I'll be good to go. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think about
Yeah,
it a lot.
well, actually, the thing I don't even like really during the winter is heated seats because, like, that's the thing. Like, of all of me getting heated, if it was like further up on my back, maybe I like the heater in the front. But when you have those heated seats on, even though your heater's on trying to get you warm, it takes longer, and those seats get hot like immediately. And then there I am. I'm still freezing, except my balls are sweating. I'm like, this is the worst of both worlds right now.
I'm weird. I want it to be cold no matter what, even if it's cold outside. When I'm in the car, I want to be cold, right? So unless it's like snowing, but I don't live in that kind of climate.
Yeah, I'm talking
So-
about real cold because I'm with you. I prefer being cool.
But what I do like
Pretty cold. Yeah.
is the heated steering wheel.
Yep, I'm with you.
That I love, but I only want it to be warm for a minute, and then I want it to go back to normal. Like it's so and my truck has it, and I have to literally go into settings and like turn it off because
I
it would
couldn't
just like
find it.
stay on. No, you literally have to go into settings. It's stupid. Like it's
Yeah,
like
when
the
I was
whole
driving
interface
your
is
truck,
stupid.
that happened to me, and I was like, the steering wheel's fucking hot. And
No,
I don't
oh,
need
so
it
it's
to be,
even
you know? And I was
worse.
looking for buttons everywhere.
Yeah, so me and you, we plug in our phone, right? And then that makes Apple CarPlay turn on. You have to unplug your phone, use the
dude.
Ford screen, go into those settings, and then go into climate, and then go to. It's like so stupid. That's what I mean. Like,
Geniuses.
I know, fucking hire a designer already. You know,
They didn't fucking test that shit.
seriously. Anyway,
Oh,
I need a new car.
Well, cool,
by the way.
man.
I'm gonna get rid of my truck. But I
no,
don't.
you were telling me that.
But I don't, it's
How's
weird,
the-
like, because I still have the same two like features
Requirements?
I'm looking for. Yeah, the requirements.
Yeah,
thank you.
looks cool,
I want it to look cool,
and it has a ball conditioner.
and a ball conditioner. Like that's really all
Yeah.
I'm looking for. I don't care what it is, but
I mean, it seems like, you know, a simple request.
but it's not though. Like I feel like
I know.
things don't look that cool these days.
Man, I agree.
And if it does look cool, it's like the car that like everyone and their mom has, so you don't stand out at
Right.
all. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. I'm having trouble finding a vehicle that I actually think looks cool. That like
Dude,
will
you got to
work for
get
my
some,
family.
got to go hit up AutoZone and get some of those fucking flame stickers and shit. Hook it
So,
up.
like the fake grill stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll mojo that thing out. Hell yeah.
The fucking pedal covers.
Hell yeah. I'm all for that. I mean, it's funny too. It's like I remember as a kid just being like, "Dad, why don't you get those?" And like, luckily, my dad was like, "Are you stupid? No, they'll look horrible." You know, he had more design sense than I did back then. Because I would have totally done that. Don't let an 8-year-old design your car.
Dude, I was a teenager and I didn't get like fake, like, because what they do is they have like fake, like air vents and fake, like fake versions of things that are actually supposed to be like real enhancements to your car. And then these dudes will just put these like stick on things and you're like, dude, that's fucking lame as shit.
There's a
And then they'll get up beside you and like rev their engine. Like,
There's a
"All right, bro."
YouTube channel called what is it, Donut? And they it's like it's like a bunch of dudes that talk about cars and they fix up cool cars and then or they'll like find a junky car and another junky car and they'll like put some stuff in it and see how fast they can make the junk car go. Like there's all
into
kinds of
that.
random things around cars,
Yeah.
right? And one of the episodes that I remember says my son's favorite car is a McLaren. They were doing a giveaway of a McLaren. And but before they gave it away, they bought like $20,000 worth of like Pep Boys stickers and vents, like all the stuff that you're talking about that totally ghettos a car. So they took this amazing hand-built artisan car and they put like $20,000 or whatever it was worth
Shit
of
on
just
it.
shit on it, like fake grills that did nothing
Yeah.
and just like flame paint jobs and like all of this horrible stuff. And then they drove it to like a car show to like get reactions from people as they were like driving by. And like everyone was just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You just ruined that car." And like it was just one of those things. But they were really smart. Like they put like a clear wrap on it before they put all the stuff on it so they didn't like ruin anything.
Oh, okay.
Because they're car guys. They're not trying to ruin a McLaren. But it was awesome, especially when you see it. Like it just looks like huge fin on the back of the car and like just
Yeah.
like stuff that is just like, oh my God, you're an idiot. And I love it. It was awesome. But that I watch
I'm into
those
that.
guys all the time just because it's like they have a sense of humor. They're not just like, I'm a car person.
Yeah,
and
pulling
I'm
stunts.
a robot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Did you ever listen to Tick and Talk, the car guys?
Tick and talk, huh?
It was like it was like on like NPR or KERA or whatever it is. They're basically these dudes that were in like, I guess, syndication or whatever for like, I think like 20 years or something. Just these two old guys. And they were pretty interesting. I don't know if they're still around because they were not young whenever I would listen to them. But basically what people would do is like these two guys that knew, I don't know, seemingly like everything about cars. They at least understood like how cars worked in general so that anybody could call in and ask a question and they would kind of know like, an answer, you know, whether it was like people making a noise or like telling them something that was like kind of going wrong. Anyway, the two of them were like these two personalities, just these two older guys just kind of shooting the shit, and it was pretty entertaining.
No, I never heard of it. I'm trying to look it up right now. I don't see anything on it.
Maybe the name's Clip and Clap, Tick and Talk, some shit like that.
There's a Click and
I
Clack.
don't know. Car Show?
Yeah, by the Tappet
That's it.
brothers, Tom and
There we
Ray
go.
Magliozzi. Okay.
I don't know all that, but it sounds like there's a good chance.
Yeah,
that's
these are
it.
old guys. They were born in 1949.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an NPR weekly radio car show about car talk. Yep.
It's
Click
pretty
and Clack.
It's pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining.
No, that's awesome. Dude, so I've dialed it back a lot. I used to be obsessed.
Man, I had so many like comebacks when you left that pause there.
I was
but I didn't do
obsessed
them.
with cars. Like, I watched every car show. I went to every like actual car show, but like I was
Me too, actually.
every magazine. Like I go to Barnes and Noble.
I don't
like,
think I was.
every day.
I don't think I was as into it as you were, but I was really into lowriders. So mine was like very much like aesthetics.
Mine was street.
I didn't know
rods.
anything about.
Like when
Yeah,
I was
didn't
in
know
middle
anything about-
school. When I was in middle school, it was lowriders. I was all about lowriders. All I wanted was some Regal or some Monte Carlo or some 64
Yeah, dog.
Impala or something. But then I you know, growing up, my dad like raced cars and stuff. So then there's like this kind of like race car thing, and then it moved into
Yeah.
like the street rod thing where it's just like a cool truck, but it's lowered. It's not ever jacked up. It's lowered and but
Yeah.
it's fast, right? And then now it's more of a how do you put modern stuff into an old car? That's what I'm into now. But like, dude,
Yeah.
like my wife hated it. Like I watched every show that there was. I'm obsessed with Chip Foose and like anything that he was doing. Like I was watching it.
God. Yeah.
Like it was
Dude's
just
badass.
like I was just like nonstop car everything. And like I don't know what happened. I think actually what happened is we restored a 1956 Volkswagen bus for my wife, and it took so much time and so much money. And then basically she was like, "Why is it so loud?" You know, and I'm like, well, because it's 100-year-old piece of metal, and we're making it move, and it looks beautiful. And I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it was that, but like I don't know, just like all of a sudden I just stopped watching car stuff, and like
I would imagine. I think there was also a bit of a decline in that type because like I remember when like Chip Foose's show and there was a bunch of shows like Monster Garage and all this shit that were interesting, and either like we got overly saturated or like I don't know those because when those came out it was like kind of the beginning of those types of shows where it's like we're gonna take this piece of shit, we're gonna make something badass, and you got to see creativity, and then it's at the end of it was like something you wish you had.
So I think you hit it on the head. So now I feel like I do know what happened to it. So like at the beginning, because there was this one show, it was on TLC, back to your TLC thing, back when you had to learn things. And it was
Yeah.
called Rides. And it was done like a documentary, right? And it was, what's the guy from 90210, Brandon?
Exhibit? Oh no, wait. Oh,
No,
okay.
no, that's Pimp My
White
Ride.
dude?
This was done, yeah, the guy who
Okay.
played Brandon on 90210, like the brother. Anyway, whoever it was, he's the narrator
Yeah.
of the show.
He
And
sounds
this is
hot.
like a legit documentary. So they would take
Okay.
like whatever. Chip Foose is working on a car for the lead singer of ZZ Top, and he's gonna do this. Here's what they came up with, like the idea. And then they would like follow
Yeah.
the shop in like doing the body and then doing the motor and doing the interior and doing all this stuff. And
Oh,
this
yeah,
is like
that was
over
awesome.
this is like over 2 years. But they put it into like an hour-long show where they're like it's a documentary
Yeah.
and they're like doing it like voiceover over the whole thing and like kind of like talking
Yeah.
through it. And so it was like this full-on education like while you're watching it, as well as like this whole artsy creative thing like you're talking about around cars.
Right.
It was so awesome. But then after that show almost like started to go away. And what happened is like the corporatization, I don't know if that's a word, but like I remember
Dramatization.
no, it's the corporatization.
Okay.
So like there was a point I remember I used to watch like the West Coast Customs shows, right? Like that's where Pimp My Ride and all that came out of, where they hired this executive. I forget her name. This older white lady, and her whole job was to bring brands and partners into the shop to do builds for a show. And so they partner with Monster Energy Drink, and then Monster Energy Drink would pay them to do a Camaro that this famous racer that they sponsor is going to go race around a track. And then it would be like Pepsi wants to do this thing. And so it became literally like partnership deals, like corporate deals around the car, not about the people who actually want the car and love the car and drive the car.
Right.
It became a corporate thing. And then every company on the planet, all those TV shows that you were talking about where it's so saturated, all just followed that same formula. And it's like, oh, today's truck that we're building is brought to you by, you know, whatever, this granola cereal. So we're going to wrap it with their granola like logo on the side, and they're going to pay for the whole thing, you know? So it was crazy. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what turned me off. Like it kind of like lost its luster. And the shows kind of got a little
Well, at the end of that show, it's not like you're looking at a car that you're like, oh my God, I actually do wish I had that. It's like, all right, that's interesting, but it says Tide all over it or whatever. Not that interesting in that.
Like, so Gas Monkeys, like here in Dallas, and our friend Anthony, one of the episodes, they do this really cool truck, right? And they do it for this like interior design company. Well, our friend Anthony ended up working with the guy who they did the truck for. And so he was like there with him. The truck was there and he was talking to him. And he was like, so is this like just a badass truck? You know, like, is it awesome? He's like, it's a fucking piece of shit. He's like, they like half put it together. You know, you can like, it's like for a TV show, you know? So it's like, it's like you skip 100 steps to get it done.
Oh, dude.
You know?
Yeah. No, totally.
It's like the fixer-upper houses shows and stuff, right?
So, you know, our friends Anthony and Natalie were on one of those shows, right?
That Landscape. I downloaded that show because when you told me or somebody told me, I like looked for the episode and I downloaded it.
Because I was so myself and Scott Dean and then a handful of other people. I can't remember everybody, but it was like friends of Anthony and Natalie's. We all came in there, and it was really interesting because they do this whole setup kind of around the house where they're going to get the best shots. And they talk about what they're going to do. And then all the friends are helping. And there was at one point where like I was kind of busting my ass because I was like, this is fucking dope. They're going to get this thing completely changed in a day. And I was like, I don't know. I was on board. It was, it was our homie. And I was like, I want to see it happen. Well, I'm over there digging a fucking hole. And then they like go, beep. Hey, everybody move back from this area. And I was like, all right, we about to, I saw him pulling up like a, like a backhoe or whatever. And I was like, oh, we about to start loading some trees in. And they're like, no, we got enough footage of you. And then like where I was digging a fucking hole, like for real, they just took the backhoe and went and just dug the hole in one fatal swoop. And I was like, oh, I was just, B-roll, sweating my fucking ass off. But then to your point, like of his car being like, shittily put together, like they only did so they painted. So I'm up on the side of the house painting. I mean, we did all, like they transformed their house. But they only painted the sides of the house that you could see in the shots. Well, even though we were painting it, they didn't like prioritize, like they weren't really interested in getting the house done. They're interested in making the show, which I guess makes sense now. But at the time, you're like, we're going to transform this house. Well, then even with like the landscaping, like the way you would really do it, is was like fucking shit tons of weeds under there and all that. They literally just came down and like put shit right on top of all the crap and put mulch all over it. So, and I was thinking to myself at the time, I was like, okay, that's how you get this shit done in like one day. Is like, you don't actually do it right at all. It's just a fucking TV show. But the good thing for them though, is it was like, even though they probably had a lot more work to kind of go back and wrap up, is that they did get the house transformed, like kind of, I guess it, like they had to do some iterations on it though. But it was pretty interesting to be a part of the process.
I've watched a bunch of like those like horror stories on YouTube or whatever of like HGTV said they were going to fix up my house and it cost me more to get it fixed after they left.
Oh God!
Than whatever, because it was exactly.
Which I'm sure they signed the contract.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the fine print somewhere. Yeah, I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Yeah. But like, they'd be like, "Look, they did this half and it looks beautiful, but then here's the rest of the room that they ripped out all the studs and and like literally my house is gonna fall down now, but they don't care because they got the shot over here.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's no columns anywhere in the house. Like,
No, it's
this is
that's
amazing
the-
open floor plan.
What is it? The social media effect type stuff where it's like you can't trust
Yeah,
anything
fake.
on the internet. You know, it's like on TV, on the internet. It's like can't trust anything.
Well, speaking of social media, we came across this this Sticker Mule is like launching a social media network called Stimulus,
Which is so
and
weird.
it is weird. Now, you and I both looked because we were going to try to actually prep a little bit more, and there's fucking nothing about the value of this social media network, but there's loosely some things that kind of like, I think it says like shit. Well, yeah, now I can't even get to it.
I can't
Basically,
either.
what
I'm
does it
stuck
say?
On this verify.
Oh, it says stimulus makes social media happier by encouraging generosity. And so when we went through and like we found this video on it, if anybody wants to look, you can do stimulus.com social network. If you just put in stimulus social network, you're not going to find it. But basically, this gal talks through the site. Now we looked at it. It looks just like Twitter, except there's this extra tab. And this is not because we've been able to use it because you tried to sign up, but there's like a giveaways tab. And so I think that this is like sort of geared towards businesses or something. One other thing though, it does make you verify. Apparently you can't log in without verifying your identity. But I don't know, man. I'm not really sure what the value, like even if they're like promoting it, because I see this tab giveaways, I don't see how they're going to do shit with this.
But even that, it feels just from, I'm making this up. All right. So this is a total theory just from looking at this screen. And I watched a little video of it. So I saw the screen's a little bit higher res than what's on their website, but cause there'll be like a post and then there'll be a button underneath it to like, like to enter the sweepstakes and win $500 or something like that. So it feels icky. Like it feels like you're trying
Sounds
to
gross
like,
as fuck, dude.
it still feels like you're trying to like trick people into engaging with your content and
Yeah.
potentially not having to do ads because you're going to coerce a bunch of people to hopefully win the prize, but only one person out of the hundreds of thousands will win it.
Yeah.
So it feels like a whole like an advertising exec came up with a social network idea, is what it.
Yeah,
what
no,
what
I
it feels
agree.
like.
Well, the other thing, like, so when we were like, neck deep in NFT shit, I started like, following a handful of influencers in the space. But then you start to get all the other, like, well, I don't know, that shit just starts to filter into your network, even people that you're not following. And all these people would do these like giveaways where it's like, they're like, follow me and retweet or something like that for a chance to win this NFT, or a lot of them would just straight up be like 10,000 ETH or something. And the funny thing though is that fucking thousands of, like, nearly hundreds of thousands or more people would actually do that. Like, I'm not willing. I'll follow you, but there's no way I'm personally going to like retweet, because that's like a fucking endorsement in my opinion. But anyway, it was stupid because like what, out of how many thousands one person might get something, and I don't even know if those were real and paid off. But this, because they're verified, they might, and it's verified by an actual company, somebody is likely going to have to win, but it's like, of how many people, and all these people are on there. And again, you and I are speculating a bit, but depending on what the criteria is, all these people are just going to go do it. Like, click the button, click the button, click the button. So now you've just got no actual engagement. You've just got people that are like, sign up for everything that I can for free.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be their spokesman right now, right?
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Sell it.
That is essentially the the pattern and process that goes on right now for influencer marketing, right? Like any YouTuber, like I watch a bunch of gamer ones or whatever, every single one of them say, hey, I'm giving away this PlayStation 5 to anybody who comments down
That's
below.
true.
All
Yeah.
you got to do is like this video and say blah, right? Like that's the pattern, right? I get it.
Well, hang on. Wait 1 second. That would be somebody that you like and follow and you're willing to kind of endorse as something you're interested in.
Yes.
Do you see
but-
the distinction a little bit?
Yeah, but hold on. Give me a second. But
I did.
so when you're looking at the stimulus stuff, there's a follow. So I wouldn't get a feed of just a bunch of random people. I'd only get a feed of the brands potentially that I actually do like and follow, right? And so
Right.
these potentially would be ones that I would compare. The problem is, it's like, so that's like the pitch, right? Like, so you're like, all I'm doing is putting it front and center, making it to where our customers
Right.
can like see all the promotions that we're doing, and they could potentially win more things and work with us even more. Because what I would say is, like, right now we have an advertising budget and we spend that advertising budget doing ads to get this thing, and we don't give away anything. We're just trying to get you to us. This is us reversing it, trying to say, well, since we already have a slight relationship, what if I could give back to you? And I'll use that ad budget that I was going to spend over here for you. The problem is, you look like a cheap piece of shit if you're just like, hey, we normally spend 10 grand a month trying to get a bunch of you fuckers to come to our website, but how about I just give one of you 500, right? Instead of like, how about everybody that likes this, the first 1,000 get $50? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm still saving money. I didn't spend my whole budget, but like now there's like a real reason to engage with you, or like make it even better where it's like Sticker Mule like promotes your shirt or your design because you're a designer, and they reach their real community. I don't know. I'm trying to see it from both sides. I feel like it's
Yeah.
in test mode or something right now, because one, we can't find anything about it, and two, like even their
Tried to sign
website
up.
doesn't have but it's
Oh.
got a one-line description about generosity.
Yeah.
Like I was just, dude, I'm super nerdy. I was literally just looking at their source code, trying to see if there's anything in here around tags.
Wait
or
a
some
minute,
kind of description or
dude.
something, and I don't see
It's
anything.
not a very, it's, look down at the bottom and it says about, which is so like hidden. Well, it's like mixed with the privacy and terms line. I totally missed it. Anyway, we won't take time to read it now, but maybe
We're dead on with what we're saying right now. Brands attach giveaways to their posts. We call them stems to earn attention. And so
people enter giveaways by replying.
what this really
liking,
is,
or
this really
re-stimming.
is. Do you know what this is? This was our company.
Oh, our old one?
This is our old company. But what they're doing
Yeah, it is,
to
actually.
get around it, what we did is we were like, hey, we'll give you this thing for free if you post this on Facebook. But then
Yeah.
Facebook changed their terms of service and said that you're not allowed to like bribe somebody to post something. Where the way they're getting around it is they're going, well, okay, well, you can't do it on Facebook. We'll make our own website, and then we'll do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck we want over here. And
Which
so-
therein lies the problem. Getting their audience, I think, is going to be rough.
yeah.
Yeah, man, that's funny. That's totally what we did, and like, wasn't even thinking about that.
It totally is, except for the difference is we were 1-to-1. We would, if you give us something, we'll give you something. What they're doing
Yeah.
is saying, give us engagement, everybody, and one of you might get something.
Right, might get something
know what
a
I
little
mean?
bit bigger, but you might get nothing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So then it's like, then it's totally like, buy this lotto ticket versus like,
Yeah, that's
Like
what it
you
is.
s- but
They should have
ours-
just called
ours
it. What
was-
a better. Wait a minute. Yeah. No, go ahead.
no, ours was like a, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. This is more just
Yeah,
like,
much
scratch
better.
my back, you know?
Oh, they should have. They should have acquired us, even though Sticker Mule didn't exist. Somebody. Yeah. Well, that's actually a really good way to put it. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, rather than like everybody scratch my back and one person I'm gonna give a blowjob. Perfect time to start coughing.
I mean, that's a different business that would probably do better than this one. They're hiring a product designer.
Oh shit, dude, you're
And-
gonna work for Truth, and I'll fucking work for Stimulus,
Hell yeah.
and we'll trade ideas.
And then so we'll just promote Truth on Stimulus all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Done. This is like a
All right.
partnership deal made in heaven.
God, I hope they can afford
it.
us. It's because
Probably
it's
not.
gonna work. Cool. Well, dude, you have a fucking product idea.
Oh,
That,
I do. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm very curious just because we're in the same industry and we've worked at a lot of places. And to me, this is something that comes up at every place that I've ever worked. And
I think I know
don't
where you're going.
feel like, as stupid simple as this could be, there is not a solution for it. And maybe there is, but I feel like it's overly complicated and I want to make it
Okay,
simple.
state the problem.
So the problem is this. You dedicate, let's just do simple math, okay? We dedicate 10
Okay.
people. These 10 people right here are the team. And they're going to go build this, okay?
Yep.
So I'm at a company of like 50 people or whatever, 100 people, whatever.
Is this maybe like a consulting or an agency or something?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right.
Like we're 50 people. You 10 go make that thing.
Yep.
Okay. I'm the
Gotcha.
CEO. I'm telling you, this is what we told our board of directors and everybody that we're making this quarter. You 10 go make it. Okay. They're like, cool. We'll have that
Okay.
next month. Okay. That's what happens. But then the very next day, the very next week, the very next month, they go, oh, hey, we got to get this other thing that we were already working on done. You three that
Yeah.
I just told you to come over there, you three come over here. I need you guys to help me finish this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now there's only 7 people working over here. And now that deadline, for some reason, that CEO or that fucking COO or whoever was like waiting for this thing to get done is never updated that now that timeline just got pushed back. Because now there's only 7 people there because literally there was 10 and you can make it in a month for 10, but you can't make it in a month with 7, right? And then the same thing happens like over and over and over again. Months go by and then the CEO gets pissed off and he's like, what the hell? If you would have told me, you told me that 10 people will get this thing done in a month. If you would have told me that I'm going to take these 3 people off and put them over here, I would have said, don't do that. Take one of them and put him over there. Take George, who's not even working on this thing, and then bring him over here. And then now we can get this thing done in a month. And we would have come up with a solution, right? Because I could have deprioritized something else. And so every place that I've ever worked, somehow, some way, the higher up person that's waiting for the thing to get done does not understand that when you move the heads, or it's not that they don't understand, they're not informed that heads are getting moved around and that's affecting these timelines like crazy, right? And so they can't even make
Yeah.
decisions until it's too late most of the time. Because that's why they think like, well, that's why we have a project manager and that's why we have this person. I want to make the dumbest looking kindergarten looking like bobblehead looking thing, primary colors, like legit kindergarten. I'm picturing like, you remember when you're like like the little baby toys that are like made out of wood and there's like a circle head and like a half circle body and they're like
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
in a farm,
Like a little peg.
a little peg thing. And it's like, okay, here's 10 people. And on the peg, you can like add a face. And like I write Steve, and all it is, it shows the number, like it'll start with what's the name of the project. Okay. This is not Jira. There's no epics. There's no descriptions. There's no stories. There's no tasks. There's no anything. What's the name of the project? Project is blah, blah. Okay. Add a person to it. You add a person, you write their first name, and you add a picture of their face if you want to. Okay. There's Pegman 1. And so I did that 10 times. And then I make another project. And then I add those people, right? But when I make a project, it's like, when is this due? Or when are we launching this, right? So there's a date. And then, okay, so now I have 2 projects, 10 over here, 4 over here. Well, I got to pull Steve off of here and pull him over here. Instantly, the deadline just got changed based on the percentage that person was probably going to be. Just like whatever, if it's 10, they're 1/10 of it. And so now the CEO or whoever gets alerted. Deadline for the project that you give a shit about has now changed. Now he can get it. That's it. That's literally it. Now, like, it doesn't have to do anything else because now he's going to get on Slack. He's going to get on a phone call. He's going to get on whatever. And he's going to be like, yo, Joe, what's going on? Why is it saying we're not going to get this done in a month now? Why did we move Steve over to that project? Why is that more important? Explain it to me now. Instantly, right then and there. In a perfect world, this would be like on a huge screen, like in his office, in the CEO's office. He's just literally seeing all of his little bobbleheads in the company moving around or not moving around and seeing the projects that we have and are they like on schedule? Are they not on schedule? That's it.
Yeah.
I think it would be,
okay.
It's so stupid simple, but it solves like the problem that I've dealt with for 20 something years. And I haven't seen anybody do anything for it.
Interesting, because when you told me you had this idea, you were like, I think you might have opinions. I definitely do, because this has been the entirety of my work life for like the past 5 years plus. I've gone through a ton of different tools. There was actually a standalone tool that is really close to what you're talking about. It was called 10,000 Feet.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I've used it.
Well, you've used it?
Yeah.
Well, that's about as close to what you're talking about, because the way that you would set the projects up.
There's that one in GetFlow, but I still feel like they're pretty, but they're a little too complicated. Like
I didn't think 10,000 feet was
in a way of like, can a person take a glance at one screen and know what's going on with all their projects? I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can.
Well, you could before.
It was done in
Dude, I used
rows.
Yeah, but there was different views. You could look at the row by resource or project, and you could set them up. I mean, what you're saying does seem simple, but there are some complexities because, I mean, I guess if you like pre-selected the feature of like hard, like, so with this, you could, I'm having to remember a little bit, but what you could do is you could basically set the project up. So you would put in the people, and you'd put that little person's face. You'd set up a profile for each person, basically. You would put in them as a resource, and basically there was two options. It was based on the deadline or based on the allocation. So it would either tell you how long it was going to take, and it would stretch out, or it would tell you like the percentage under or over you were going to be on the allocation that you estimated was going to be required. So the one feature that it didn't have that you mentioned was alerting a person, which in your case would be the CEO. Now in my case, like my CEO didn't want to know all that shit until like, it was like, he would just chop our heads if we let it get to the point where we hadn't fixed it, or if we just couldn't, we had like, multiple weekly meetings or whatever. And one of those was at least to talk about, concerns on the radar. And then the whole team would talk about, because basically at that point, it's like, we don't have the resources. There's this project and this project. We need the same person. At that point, the whole team would talk about it, and we try to figure out things, and that person would call the client. But I mean, to me, that was about as dead simple as you could get. And I actually thought it was a pretty great product. Of course, you always get frustrated when you try to do certain things that you kind of can't, but like, it's pretty simple. But of course, it's gotten bought up by Smartsheets. Now you have to pay $1 bajillion for a Smartsheets account.
No,
I don't know if it's a bajillion, but
I like 10,000 Feet, and there was another one called Flow, getflow.com, I think it was. But I think still there is a simpler view, a simpler way to digest that same information. And
I wouldn't say I disagree.
It's almost more of a design task than it is a product.
It's a data
task.
Visualization task.
It's 100% a data visualization task, because like I want it to be a billboard. I want in like less than 2 seconds of you driving by it, you saw what's going on with your entire company, right? Like you see ants marching. So What's up?
Did you ever see, you remember at the old office, we had those big flat screens? Did you ever see that dashboard functioning?
I saw it,
Okay.
but I remember it being about individuals. Like saying
No,
like,
it was about
"Steve,
projects."
Here's the task here's all the projects.
Oh,
that
well, it
Steve
basically, we probably added too many features, but to me, it was kind of a joke. This is our old culture versus, you know, all the softies. But basically, we built it so that if there were any blockers, we would read that and we would push it to it and say, this project's being blocked. And we'd have a big picture of that person's face. So at all times you would look up there and you would see somebody. That was more of like
That's awesome.
a shit talking feature, but we thought it was cool. A lot of people didn't, but you know.
I think
Softies.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I love that. I want to know if
Well,
I'm
and the
a
reason-
blocker, and I want to fix it.
Well, honestly, so I do say it was like we were talking shit, but honestly, it really started out of, we talk shit about it because we talk shit, right? But it
Yeah.
really started as oh, hey, I know that, you know, Ray's a blocker on this. I'm just going to catch up with him real quick because it's on a big dashboard, like why the project is in yellow, might be turning red. And I'm like, hey, Ray, everything going all right? And you're like, no, dude. I got to fucking redo some shit, or I've got, you know, or this is a dependency. It was a conversation starter so that we could try to solve that problem. But, you know, we just like talking shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I literally see this almost like I'm designing in my head right now. So imagine it's like whatever, yellow or purple background. And like all you see is like these black circles. The black circles equal a person. Underneath that, there's a black rectangle and it says project 1, right? And over here, you see these 10 black circles and it says project 2. And underneath those, you have a percentage, like is it on time? And like whatever, how many people are working on it right now. 100%, right? And the second that you move somebody off, now that one's 90% and the timeline changed and this one changed, right? Like that's it. Like, and I could see 10 plus however many projects I want on one screen. And like I can get an idea of what's going on in my company, right? So this is almost like not even just like a CEO. It could be anywhere. Like I'm thinking of it as a founder of just like if we have our startups or we have whatever, and we have people working, especially in like a remote kind of the culture that everything is right now.
Yeah.
Like I want to just see what's going on because I don't get to talk to everybody all the time.
Well, that was actually the reason for building that dashboard that we did, because our CEO, we're like running shit, and we would get to a point where we, you know, because it was like our responsibility to not let shit get to the CEO. But then at a certain point, if certain things were like, you know, maybe something came up, like we thought we had solved it, and then somebody quits or something or whatever may happen, then we're like, oh fuck, all right, it's time to tell Joe Bob, you know, we're have an issue. And then, but it also, to your point, then, you know, probably as most CEOs, he was like, what the fuck? Why didn't I already know about this? And of course we're like, cause now is the time we would have been fucking telling you about that. So that's why we made that dashboard. So, you know, at any time one would be highlighted in red, you know, yellow or red if it was, not looking good. And we had those,
Well,
you know, you saw we had those screens everywhere.
So, but
It didn't actually work very well for us. I mean, we just didn't do a good job building it.
I
Thanks,
loved
man.
walking into your office and seeing those. Like, I wanted one so bad. I
sweet.
still want one. We've talked about it before. Like, I want like a big TV right here in my office that's just showing all the shit I got to do, what I'm doing, am I fucking up?
The
Like,
life dash.
Yes, I want the life dashboard. But one more thing on this whole thing is like it's also solving another problem, which is but I want everything problem, right? And because what would happen, I remember this is like a few jobs ago, and I'd always be working with like our project management leads and stuff, and they would just be like, I don't get it, man. This is so stressful because it's like boss man said he wants this project, and I'm like, okay, we'll take people off of this one to get that done. He's like, no, I want that one too. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to have to hire some people. I was like, no, we're not hiring anybody. We got plenty of people. We just need to get both of these things done. And so literally it's like, that sounds great in your head, boss man. But like when you see the amount of work that can get done visually right here, and you're adding another project and there's no heads to put there. It's like, it's almost like you can't visualize it when they say it or when they think it, but when you literally drag that person's face over to here and now they're not over here anymore, I feel like it hopefully the goal would be now it makes sense. Okay, we just subtracted. We can't just keep adding. You know what I mean? And so
Totally.
there's something to just the formula.
By the way, I agree with everything you're saying. The only reason I even chimed in is because I feel like one product got really close because I've used so many and so many are so bad. But unfortunately, they were good enough. They got bought up.
Not
apparently.
unfortunately. That's a great thing. That's the
Yeah,
thing with
there we go.
building a startup. That is legit. Like
Unfortunately
they
for
did it
like,
all. Oh, for people.
not unfortunate for
customers.
them.
Yeah.
For people who might want to like have used it.
No, I'm
I
saying
actually
but
went
for
back there the
this
other day
idea. For this idea,
Yeah.
now it's even
Also
I have
good.
more confidence because somebody went down the same route and they got acquired and made a bunch of money. So they're obviously solving a problem that still needs to be solved by other people, and I think that there's always a better way to do it. There's always a simpler way to do it. Potentially, especially with smart sheets, there's a cheaper way to do it.
Especially on the data visualization side, the one thing that I know is still, I believe will still be a little more complex is like the setting up projects. Cause everybody does everything a little bit different. But the way that you display it, well, plus like having a dashboard out of the box, I feel like there's got to be some complexity to that because I've personally looked for so many products that would do that, and there would be some that would say we integrate with this, but I've never seen really. I mean, that's why we fucking built our own because I've never seen anything.
But this is the approach that I have in my head. We don't integrate with anyone. We're not trying to replace your Jira.
I'm down.
We're not trying to do any of that shit. What we are trying to help you do is manage your people and see visually what's going on with what your people are currently working on. And so everyone that's on the executive team and down below and the management team are all on the same page.
So
that's literally what it would be for. Shit on it. Do it. Shit on it.
Because this was my life. And the statement you just made now I don't disagree. The integrations make it hard and every tool's different. And it would be nice if there was one tool. But if you have to go and you have to duplicate information. Oh God, that sounds torturous. Like we're managing the project over here in the actual project management tool. Because unfortunately you just have to use those tools at least when you get to a certain size. Like we were managing 250 people and it just would have been, there's no way we just had to use those tools. So now you've got this project or this tool to go basically duplicate, whatever 30 projects with 250 people, right? That sounds torturous.
Yes and no. So here's what I would say to that. Remember too, the whole point is like you're not putting in all that crap. You're literally putting in the name.
I'm thinking about the minimum.
The name of the project is literally all of your putting. That's it.
Well, no, you got to put.
No,
well,
you
how are
send
you
a
gonna
link
measure?
to Joe. Joe signs up with a profile, and now we know Joe is on that one. And so I put in
That's
so
fine.
I
How do
wrote
you
the
put the
name and I
project?
wrote when it's due. Done.
Okay, now somebody has to go in there and put some sort of level of effort. Otherwise, you're not going to have any percentage of how close you are to getting that done or not.
All right, let's keep building. So it's like I wrote the name of the project, I wrote when
good.
it's due, and I wrote how many people I need to do it. So now there's 5 slots in that project because I said I need these 5 people to do it. And when I remove one of those people, I just removed that percentage of 5.
Oh, so you're literally like not putting any weight into the actual activities of building it. You're just using the person as
That's why I'm saying
equivalent
this is a
weight.
people manager it's like a resource tool. And it's like the whole job of it is to go, you can't have everything you want. You literally have to move people around to get these things done. And when you move things around, the due dates change. You need 100% of
But the
that
due date,
to get the thing done.
The one thing you wouldn't be able to tell is how much it's going to affect the due date. You're literally just going to be able to see, you've removed a person, because there has to be some weight tied to an estimate of the thing that person's going to do.
You can.
What if you
but
had
remember,
okay, here. Wait, what if you had one designer that was going to be on it? I'm just making shit up. I know it will trigger people that I say 2 weeks, but like say they were going to be on there 2 weeks to design this shit, and then you had the developers building it for 3 months. If you take away that designer, like that has no, like you're not affecting, well, sorry. You are affecting the timeline and what can be done, but you're not necessarily showing any level of percentage of the ability to complete it.
Okay, let's keep building. All right.
Right.
So now, instead of having to do all that shit, when you add designer 1, you literally have a slider underneath them, and you just slide it up to like
A timeline.
10%. No, to 10%. Like, what's the percentage that they make up of this project, which is the weighting system like you're talking about. Like the developers.
It
are
is,
gonna
but
be
that's
on
a
it for
hard
3
thing
months.
to.
Wouldn't
it just be easier?
This is not a. That's what I'm saying. This is a WAG product. This is a wild ass guess like management system. This is not your Jira. This is not taking like into account every little piece and every little thing that everyone is working on. That's not the point of it. The point of it is resources, and like it's totally.
So basically, it's like Boolean. It's yes or no. It's kind of we have the resources to do this, or we just took away one and we don't.
This is
right?
what's happening. Like, here's a real life example of what's happening right now. We're supposed to be working on this feature, right? We told Boss Man we were going to be working on this feature, but we're in UAT for another feature, and that's gone a lot longer than we thought it was going to be. And Boss Man had no idea. Like,
oh, that's an actual project. Okay, gotcha.
User acceptance testing.
Oh,
So
okay.
We're doing testing right now. And it's like we find a bug, keep going. So like the dedicated whole crew that was supposed to be working on the next feature is still working on the old one. But Boss Man's out there selling the new feature. And he finds out that we hadn't even started it. And then our whole team that's doing that is like, what do you want us to do? Not finish this part and start working on this one? And
I think I've solved it. I think it's the way you were saying it's people management, but it's really a communication tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
It's how do you communicate that this thing is dragging on, which is affecting this other thing. And when you move people around because you have an emergency over here, all of that affected everything that person touches.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And the reason that I kind of think that it really is a communication tool is not only because of, like you said, you're not trying to manage projects, but you're not really even trying to manage the people. You really are like, because you're just moving them, right?
And based on that, way better. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah. That actually puts a different light on it in my.
You're describing it better to me. It's to me the focus is around the people, but you're right. It is 100% a way to communicate how those people affect these projects, and making sure everyone is on the same page with it. Right.
This to me feels pretty simple. It's interesting.
But picture it too. Like it could look really fucking cool and really like childish almost, like like totally primary colors.
You kind of said like two things there. I'm kind of trying to blend together. Cool, but childish.
Like simplistic. I always like use the term like I want to kindergarten proof this. Because it's like I want it to be understandable by like a child, right? But that doesn't mean it's got to have like a real photo and like these like timelines and charts and stuff. Like it could be like you're a triangle and you're a square and you're a hexagon, and like there's just cool shapes and like cool typography and like really bright type, like it could just look cool.
It could be like
it's totally
based on the role.
You said it right.
All the
it's
developer
totally
roles could be squares.
Totally. That's awesome. No, but like you said it right. Like this is like a data visualization tool. It's a way to communicate what's going on within projects, right? Like I think that's the perfect kind of wrap up of what it.
And then at the I like it. Man, we got to fit this into. This has been like the X idea podcast for the past few weeks.
This is
I'm
my
digging it.
everyday. This was my idea of the
know
day. So, and I don't know.
Idea of the day.
But this has been, I've had something sort of like this in my head for so long because this problem just keeps popping up. And so I've always had this
I know what you're talking
visualization.
about.
I've always had this visualization.
sucks.
You remember that game, Guess Who? Where like little, you have the people when you pick, you're like, is your person blonde? And you like, no. And you knock down all the ones that aren't blonde. I've always pictured like you've got a team and then like you like knock them down when they're not working on the thing and they have like a little illustration of themselves or something like that. So I've had this idea kind of like brewing for a minute, but then we were in a meeting today and it all kind of got spun up, so it's been happening.
Yeah, I understand.
It's been happening. So I don't know. I feel like there's an easy fix for this, but I always think that, but I don't know. I think there's something here. There's something here, and it could make $1 bajillion, and I would like to have that money.
Nice. Well, sweet. Then I'll come clean your house or something for an overpriced rate.
Yeah,
We can hang out.
You charge me whatever you want.
Oh, sweet. All right, man. Well, we're at 55 minutes. Do you want to get into anything else?
I have one other random thing that's not even on our list, but did you see that Pinterest launched like paid influencers?
No, I don't guess I
I'm trying
did.
to find
It's really interesting you
for
mentioned that because I don't know where, but I've heard that Pinterest is kind of this untapped market for like social, what is it? I don't know, marketing, whatever. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, but like social media marketing or whatever. Just don't know the right words. And so today I actually met with someone for a project that I'm working on for, like a social media marketing campaign. And one of her options in there, she gave like the 3 tiers, and one of them was Pinterest. And I really I'd heard that mentioned on some podcast we probably both listened to, but I didn't have a need for it. And when I saw that on the proposal, I was like, okay, yeah, let me think about that a little bit more. And I actually find it to be a potentially really interesting platform for, what do you call it? Passive marketing. And the reason why is because most people that I know, and definitely for myself, if I go to Pinterest, I might go sometimes just to randomly browse, but for the most part, I'm going there with a specific thing to sort of browse. So when we're redoing, the office or whatever, I'm going there for like office design inspiration. People will go there for like workouts or whatever. So I think it's like really cool. It's a really cool idea. So I don't know what happened with the influencer thing.
Okay, so they launched. It's called Pinterest Creators. But back to what you were saying. I feel like me and you have always been on Team Pinterest for a while. Like I feel like most people are like, I don't use Pinterest. I'm not a housewife. I don't do that. Like I use it for everything. I use it for work, like nonstop. Like if we're working on a project and I have my team working on something, the first thing I do is start looking for inspiration, make a folder, and I send them that.
Yeah.
And like that's what we base everything on. Like basically it's my mood boards, and like all of our inspiration is all based on all that. Right? So what they ended up launching is something called Pinterest Creators, which essentially is like their version of like being a Twitch streamer where you could like or YouTube streamer where you could like get subscriptions. So like people could like, like pay to like be part of like your stuff.
Interested in their idea here.
And then,
I wonder what
the I saw it yesterday or day before where someone was like, I made $900 the first month and I made $10,000 the second month. And essentially it becomes like I guess just like almost
I'm
like
actually
an editorial person.
Okay. So I'm glad you brought this up. This will be good. This is good hot shit, I think, Dan Owen, because I, at a surface level, am a huge fan of that idea, because there is, you will find somebody that's like curated a gold mine, and you're like, thank you, whoever you are.
Yep.
This is fucking awesome. Then the way that they get shared. So if I add that to my board, oh, I love like the potential. I don't know how their revenue model works, but if there was a percentage for like, if you got a percentage of like shares as well, which maybe you don't because that person's going to follow you back. I don't know. There's a lot of questions there, but I would totally, depending on the price point, I would totally like pay for this. And now I'm thinking about it. It makes me even wonder if there's a base level price. I mean, I doubt this is how it works. I'm just trying to like make up my own sort of like revenue model here. But if you could pay like a base level price and it gave you a number of people to follow, so you could essentially say it gives you like 5 people you can follow that are at a premium level. So they require you to pay or whatever. Well, I can follow this person. If I want to, I can switch that or whatever, versus, which I don't know at all, but do you know anything about the revenue or the pricing model?
I was
Is it per
looking it up
person?
right now. So I actually, I guess, was given them more credit. I don't see anything about like the subscription type thing we were talking about. What it actually seems like it is comes all the way back to stimulus that we were talking about at the beginning.
God damn it.
Essentially it's like, I guess Pinterest has like a pool of brands, right? And so say one of them is Dr. Pepper, and like if I make good content and I meet the requirements, right, and I sign up as a creator, like I've got over 1,000 followers and whatever else their checklist is, and I make content specifically about Dr. Pepper, and then I tag it with Dr. Pepper and all those things, and that starts getting like it gets engagement, I get paid from Pinterest for it. So essentially I'm a content creator,
An
like almost like
ambassador.
this is the YouTube model, right? Like where it's like based on your views and your comments and all of that, their watch time, you're monetized on YouTube, and Google pays you. So this is the same kind of thing. It's like you get monetized based on your content that you get the most engagement on, it seems like. And then they give you a bunch of
Well, I'd
creator
love to see what they
tools.
do here. What I would tell you though is if they came up with like a kind of almost like this like micro, well, calling it micro payment, because like something really small. So like in order to follow a user, it's like, you know, maybe there's some tiers and the user can select. But if I'd be willing to follow some of these people for like, you know, $2 or $3 or whatever. You start getting to the $5 mark and like it feels a little.
I mean, the Twitch model is the perfect one to follow, right? Because it's like my son has a Twitch. It's like, I think it's a minimum of $5. Like, so you can follow them, right? Just like normal, and see their stuff.
Right.
If you subscribe, there's a minimum of like $5 a month. And so it's just like a subscription. And then there's like tipping. Like, that was really awesome. They really helped me this month with all the stuff that they added. So here's another $10 or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's like, that's exactly like what you're saying. Is like Twitch has a minimum, I think, of 5. You're saying 2 or 3, which I'm with you. Like, there's so many times that I've been like, I was looking for websites that had these hotels, and you've already made a whole board of every hotel that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And extra, I need to give you something for that. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's something totally with this, but it's like, and then it makes me mad because it's like, I have the most insane Pinterest boards. Most of them are secret, and I don't share them publicly.
Yeah.
And so
I've got
like,
one. It's actually public.
But like, I never push to try to get more followers or tag anything or write descriptions or like do anything to like make mine popular at all. And now like there's these requirements where I'm like, man, I've been on Pinterest since day one. You know,
How many
like,
followers do you have on there?
Let me see.
I've got 407, but that's because I've been on there since, you know, day 1 or 2.
I've got
and there was a point.
387.
I mean, for Pinterest followers, I feel like we're doing okay. Like, you know,
We got to have
I
at
don't know what
least
they're
1,000 to be an influencer.
Damn it, we're so far away.
I know.
I would not be a good Pinterest influencer, really.
I think I would be for design. Like I have so many boards around design, everything. At one point I started literally breaking them down by color. So I have like orange app design UI, blue app design UI, yellow app design UI. Like
That's so funny. That is funny. And it's awesome if you like fill those up. But what I did was I tried to get real specific. I don't know if I tried. I just didn't have good organizational structure in my head when I was setting some of these up. So there are some that just have like, there's some that have like 600, and then there's some that have like 16 and 8. And you're like, okay, well, those are useless. How do I, fix those?
But they're not necessarily. If you dug through and
These are
found
the
really awesome
only
ones.
8 things you're ever going to find.
Not
Actually, not a bad
only.
idea.
Not only, but
The
like
8 best ones. Yeah.
you got the best of the best.
Okay.
These are Steve's picks.
Right on, man.
But no, I don't know. There's something here because I don't know. I think that Pinterest is like that one that like has been around. They have made money, like they didn't like go belly up or anything.
Which is kind of surprising.
Well, I mean, they have to have a crazy like burn and just like, I mean, they're dealing with like images and saving things like all over the place, which I know is getting cheaper, but like they've been doing it for a decade. And like, you don't hear about it that often. And so like, they totally are like the silent killer that could just like pounce on somebody and just kind of like take over, cause it's got Instagram type content. It's like very visual. All it's missing is like the personality part of the person, which now they're adding. They added video.
Yeah.
Now you can like add little videos of like you talking and doing live shopping and stuff like that for things. And now you add this influencer creator thing to where it's like, I don't know, they're opening up a door here. Then I feel like it might be time to buy some Pinterest stock. So,
All right, man. Well, I'm pretty interested. What I didn't realize is that our holding company board, Defenders of the Internet, has 272 followers.
Does it really?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Which means that it must have sent out like notifications to all your followers and all mine or something.
We're famous.
Dude, we're fucking crushing it. Oh my God.
I mean, and this is just an awesome board with awesome stuff in it. That's what I'm saying.
It's true. All right, bro. Well, that's some fun shit. Looking forward to seeing whatever the fuck they do there. I like using Pinterest, so yeah.
Pinterest, faux life, yo.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we're going to, since it's towards the end, I mean, we're about to wrap it up. But first, we're going to go to commercial. Hey, gang. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast of your own? Well, quit thinking about it and get started. Check out Riverside.fm. It's an amazing platform that allows you to record high-quality audio and video directly to your computer. They've also got amazing built-in editing tools that you can use directly in the browser. It's super easy. With a few clicks, you'll be ready to publish. Quit waiting around. You want to start a podcast? Get started today. Check out Riverside.fm. Use our promo code UXWeekly. What are you waiting for? Can't wait to hear your podcast. All right.
Good job remembering that we needed to do a commercial because
Yeah.
I had totally forgot. Like, man, I don't know. We were just talking. I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, jibber jabbering. Idea time. Well, cool, man.
Jibber jabbering? What you boys jibber jabbering about over there?
All right. We're just going to do an episode where all we do is just fucking voices.
We should.
But
We'll just piss everyone off, right? Like, so like we should do like British accent day, and then we'll do like Southern, and then we'll do like something else. Like, but like.
Well, this one guy I used to work with, he kind of talked like this, but I think a lot of people sometimes thought it was just gay, but I don't know.
That was good. See, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep up. I don't know.
Wait, you and I were on a call the other day. I never realized that I would for one, my voice is garbage. My natural voice is like I've smoked cigarettes my whole life or something. But I didn't realize for the longest time, maybe a few years ago, people started making comments, but you brought it up the other day because we were on a call and I was talking about this conversation I was having. Didn't even realize I'm like jumping back and forth between voices, and you're like,
No,
dude, that was pretty good.
Dude, you weren't just bouncing back and forth between voices. You literally, when you were having this one guy's voice, you would make your voice crack when you were doing him, and then then it would be somebody else, and it wouldn't. Then you go back to that person, make it crack again. It was like you were making like puberty. He was like instantly went back to puberty for that guy's voice, and then you were a man for this one. And then it was amazing. There's no fucking way I could do that. I can't like crack on demand, basically. You know,
Man, I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. It was so good. Yeah. That's why I
Well,
said story time with you at your house must be amazing when you read books. You know, Essex is lucky.
Yeah. Lucky little bastard. All right, man. Well, on that note, dude, good catching up today.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I'm ending that with a weird. It's good catching up with you, Ray.
Guess I'll never see you again. All right. Later.
Yeah, we'll schedule something for 3 months from now.
You can pencil me in when you have some time. You
All right, I'll do it. All right, bro. Have a good one.
right.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
know. Later.